Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Markets to Watch from Smack the Markets for week commencing the 2nd of August. So we start off this week with the US Dow testing all-time highs, with gold slipping back into its range and the US dollar flirting with key levels, namely that key $92 level. This week, of course, we've got Non Farm Payrolls at the end of the week, but we are squarely in summer trading conditions now, being it's just starting into the month of August. So let's take a look at a few markets here and a few opportunities that we're keeping an eye on going into the beginning of this week. If we take a look at the US equity markets first of all, taking a look at the Dow, we can see that these markets now sort of pushing up to, well, around sort of testing these real extreme highs around the sort of 35.50 area here, and you can see an early trade this morning as well. The gold is being positive and retesting these sort of high ends of this sort of sideways range that it's been stuck in here for a while. So the path of least resistance certainly looks to be very supportive and to the long side here for the Dow. I think when you start to come down to some of these slightly lower time frames, you can start to see that there's some weakness starting to come in as well into these into this sort of price action. We've had some very sideways choppy price action. We've had some weakening momentum over the past week or so, and that's starting to show now. So we need some really good news to help push these markets into new territory. Similar condition here with the S&Ps, and you can see again the S&Ps have been stuck within this range for a few weeks now, although it is starting to push towards the long side, still having trouble breaking out. The Nasdaq is the lagger at the moment, and the Nasdaq did manage to get above that 15,000 level, still not able to push on to those all-time highs as yet, but again, you know, this week we'll certainly keep an eye on this. There could be some opportunities here if these start to push through. Our preference at the moment is the Dow out of the three, as I think that one is closer to breaking out of this sideways range. If we take a look at the precious metal markets, you can see that the metals here have weakened off fairly significantly. So after Friday's rally here, where we got this breakout, you can see that the market's now sort of slipped right way back into this sort of comfortable sideways range. If we take a look at this on the daily time frame, you can see that the market's been stuck within this sort of range here, I suppose, from 1,800 to 1,840 for, you know, a couple of, well, more than a couple of weeks here, more like 3 weeks now. I think the levels to really be aware of here is if this market sort of takes out these lows around 1,800, in fact just these lows of these candles, then look for significant weakness and we could see some sort of correction to the short side. I would imagine probably 1,750 could be the first sort of level on that to target to the short side. From a long perspective, you know, again, if this market can sort of turn around, if we can get bullish action pushing above that 1840 level, then the market does look set to retest towards that 1.9 level. If we come up here to the weekly chart, you can see the analysis sort of fairly well. So again, you can see that we've broken out of this sort of range at the moment. 1.9 looks to be the next sort of key decision point area for this market, but there is some significant sort of weakness to the short side, and of course these markets can just sort of drift around until they find enough strength to make those moves. So if we come over to the currency markets now, the US dollar I think is one of the key markets at the moment. It's testing around that key 92 level. If we see some strength in the US dollar, then weakness in the US dollar, then one of our favorite markets here is cable. Cable has been sort of quite strong against the dollar, or Great British Pound has been quite strong against the US dollar for recent trade, as you can see here on the 4-hour time frame. The markets are recently sort of retraced here on Friday after that burst of strength, and now this is looking like it's sort of setting up for a possible move up towards retesting that 1.4 level. If we have a look at this on the weekly, you can see that 1.4 is quite a significant sort of price point here, well tested, The market's made a good recovery here after testing the 1.3.5 area, and even starting to come down to the daily time frame. You can see that we've had some very sort of strong moves and pullbacks. Now from a technical perspective, on the lower time frames, you can see that the markets have sort of pulled back into sort of value areas. Any significant advancement through 139.30, where you can see that we've had some previous support and resistance in the pass through here, then that does open up the market for a bit of a trading window up to the recent high, and then up towards that 140 level. So we're liking cable to the long side. Great British Pound has been sort of inherently strong against a lot of trading pairs recently. Second to Great British Pound against the dollar, Pound Yen is also one to keep an eye on too. So again, the yen has been significantly weak, and we like a couple of yen markets here too. So second to Great British Pound against the yen, Singapore yen is another market that we've been actively trading, and also had on our watch list here for a couple of weeks now. In fact, we're liking this as a bit of a turnaround from the daily time frame trend to the short side. So we're looking for strength in this market compared to sort of the trend here, the daily trend that's been weak. You can see that we've got evidence of a turnaround starting to form on the 4-hour time frame, and we've got levels here that are starting to get taken out. So strength here. Again, it's a yen weakness play, and again, we're liking this one to the long side. Singapore dollar is relatively strong against its trading pairs in early trade today as well. So there's a few markets there that we're keeping a close eye on coming into the beginning of this week. I certainly hope it helps, and look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.